In this installment of the Landstrooper Help Desk Ticketing System training videos, I will be going through pretty much exactly what the title of this ticket is called, or what I've called this ticket, which is transferring a ticket to another agent. As you can see, I've already created the ticket. I've got details in here about the campus location, the room number. I've assigned it to as a general service desk type of ticket in terms of the job. Was it job type? I think it's called. And this ticket has been assigned to Justin Brown, who's a student technician here at the Boulder County campus. And in this particular scenario, we're having an issue with a computer specifically, but it's with a student logging into a computer. So what we have going on here is that a faculty member is reporting that a student couldn't log into a classroom PC in room C1730. The instructor came by and informed us that the PC with the issue was station number 16, so we know which specific machine in that room is giving us problems. So I made the ticket, created the ticket, and assigned it to Justin. And what Justin then did is when he looked at the schedule, when he had some time, or when he had time, when the classroom was available, he went down and did some troubleshooting, some investigating, which you'll see down here in the notes field. I've put in some notes here about what he's done. He checked the NIC to see if there's any connectivity. He didn't see anything, so he swapped the suspect PC's cable with another one that was working, that did have connectivity, and doing that didn't change anything. So he thinks it's not the PC. It sounds like there's something either with the cable itself or maybe the wall plate. So he swapped the cable out. Still no change with either PC. So he's kind of drawn a conclusion based on his troubleshooting here that it has to be something to do with either the wall plate or something on the patch panel switch that's in either the data closet or server room, depending on wherever this particular cable runs to. So based on Justin's, like I said, determination of what he's figuring out, what he thinks might be the problem, he wants to transfer this ticket to Dan Scallion, who's a member of the Directory and Data Services team, and he happens to be on our campus, so he kind of deals with sort of networking type issues, the bigger issues such as that. So what Justin wants to do, of course, like I said, is he wants to transfer this ticket over and assign it to Dan. Now to do that, you go up here to the Actions button. You click on that and you notice there's a bunch of different options in here that you can change in regards to this ticket. Of course, we're going to change the agent, so we're going to go into the agents option here, and you see there's a bunch of different options here. You can assign a ticket to yourself, so if somebody else was in this ticket, they can assign it to themselves instead of Justin. We can assign it to an agent, which is what we're getting ready to do. We want to assign it to Dan. You can unassign the ticket so that it's unassigned, and it'll have like awaiting pickup up here instead of having a name. It'll have that kind of a default sort of thing. You can subscribe. You can add a subscriber, which you can say, well, I don't want to be an agent necessarily, but I want to subscribe myself so I can get notifications as this ticket is worked on and progresses through the different folks that might be working on it. Or you can add a ticket subscriber, a different person, and you can assign them to these different roles. They can be a secondary agent. They can be limited to tar notes, which is just basically any notes that are added to the ticket, but they can't really make any changes. Or they can be set up to only view the ticket and as the ticket progresses through the different stages. So here you could you can add a secondary agent, but that's not what we want to do here. We actually want to reassign this ticket from Justin over to Dan. So you want to go up to Assign to Agent, and you'll get this little window that pops up, and you'll get a listing here of all the different technicians, and there's a couple of groups here. There's the campus service desk groups, but mostly it's all just individuals listed in here within IT at all the different campuses. And like I said, we're going to assign this to Dan Scallion, and his name, of course, starts with an S. And if you notice, it's alphabetized by last name, so Dan's down there towards the bottom. Since his last name starts with an S, there he is right there, and you can select him. You notice it highlights him, and it shows you that he's got 44 tickets assigned to him. That's what the little number out to the side there indicates. Now down there at the bottom, before you actually click on the Assign to give the ticket over to Dan, you notice you have these two little options here. One says Set Self as Subscriber Type. One says Set Current Agent as Subscriber. Now the Set Self as Subscriber Type applies to me since I'm in this ticket. And if it was Justin going in and changing the ticket from himself over to Dan, that could be himself, and so he could say, well, you know what? I want to set myself a secondary agent because I want to see what Dan does and whatnot. But since I'm myself, Kevin and Pruitt is actually in this ticket, I'm going to leave this as the default, which is don't subscribe, because I don't want to see anything to do with this necessarily this ticket until it gets completed. So I won't change that. Then the other option, like I said, was Set Current Agent, which the current agent, of course, is Justin Brown. You can set him up as secondary agent. So if Justin was in here, he could kind of do double duty. He could set himself as secondary agent in both these categories here, which is kind of a strange thing. But in any event, you can set him up as a secondary agent, which is the default. Or again, you've got the same sort of three options here. You can set him up to limit him to only viewing internal notes, or he can be limited to only viewing the ticket. He can't really make any changes or add anything, but he can watch it or view it, or he can not subscribe at all and just have hands off and not want to do anything with the ticket. I will leave this as secondary agent because Justin's going to want to know what Dan did to fix this problem. So we'll go ahead and click on the assign button. You notice it changed to Dan. Now, one thing that I didn't mention here at the beginning when I was talking about the general kind of setup of the ticket here in the scenario is that since it was a login issue and that was related to a PC, I have assigned the ticket to the job type of General Service Desk. There was a little bit of debate whether or not that should be hardware or not, but I thought, nah, just keep it General Service Desk. We're not really sure what the problem is. When somebody changes a ticket over, in this case we're changing over to Dan, and we think it's an infrastructure type of problem, then what you should do is go up here to the edit button up here at the top, which is over two down or two over to the right from the actions button, and go in and change the type of ticket over to infrastructure. And then of course there's some different options will pop up. In this case, the infrastructure job types option will pop up. You can close that out. I'm not sure what that's. And what do we have here? What are our options? Well, we got system outage, network administration, cabling. Yeah, let's probably say other. This doesn't really, it's hard to say what this one's going to be, what the issue is going to be for this one. So we'll just say other for now. And of course, in this editing box, this edit ticket box, you see it says edit ticket. You'll notice that Justin Brown's listed up here as a subscriber, and the type of subscriber is he's a secondary agent. And then you've got this little red circle out here, like a do not enter sign symbol. It's a little symbol, looks like a do not enter sign. You can click that, and that will delete him off there. And you can also click the plus sign and add additional subscribers, whether they be a secondary agent, whether they view internal notes only, or they can only view the ticket, which is the watch only category there. So we'll click OK. You see now it's Dan's been assigned a ticket. He's the primary agent, and it's, of course, an infrastructure type of ticket. Now, since we've done a little bit of investigating, it's not some sort of software-based thing with the PC itself, or hardware-based, I should say, I guess more so. That's not the PC. So we flip that over, and like I said before, since can't speak sometimes, since Justin's a subscriber as a secondary agent, if you click the subscribe tab here, you notice as well as within the edit up there, you can also see any of the subscribers and what their roles are, whether they're a secondary agent, internal notes only, or watch only, or view only. They say watch only. It's a view only role. So going back to ticket details, we see again all the information about the ticket. Here's what Justin did, even though you notice that says I entered this note. That would be a Justin's name there. He entered this note about all the things he checked. And then one last thing we do before we can say that, besides assigning it to Dan, going to edit, and changing the ticket type, since we know now it's probably an infrastructure problem, is that we should probably put a little note down here in the notes field before we get out of it that let Dan know that we've transferred the ticket over. He's going to get it once we hit the send message here. He's going to see this without a note in here that he's got a ticket. But it's a good thing to probably make a note in here, so just for history purposes. And then down here on the note type, it's an internal note, so it's not going to go out to everybody that's all the secondary agents and subscribers and everything aren't going to necessarily see this. It's just the primary agent. And then the state, and notice the default says don't change, because you can change the state if you'd like to like awaiting reply, or that's in progress, things of that nature. But most of the time we're not going to change the state until we're actually done with the ticket and we're going to actually close it. And that's when we get into that. So we'll send a message. That little note about transferring it to Dan by Justin has been done, since, like I said, I'm acting as Justin. And then when you go back to the main page, because again, this is an open ticket. This is happened to be ticket 375, so I hit the very top. Now instead of being assigned to Justin Brown, there was a B here with a yellow box. Now you see Dan's got a picture uploaded here, so you see Dan's face here, saying that that's assigned to him. It's infrastructure, and there's his name. And of course, I created the ticket, and I'm the last one to make any notes to it. Edits to that ticket. Last updated was by me. And that's it. So that's it for this video. So I thank you all for your time and attention, and I hope you guys enjoyed the new Landsweeper Help Desk ticketing system as much as I have playing around with it and making all these training videos for everybody. So if anyone has any questions, please don't hesitate to call or email me. And this is Kevin Pruitt signing off. Goodbye.